Karma. All life is based upon karma and is continually affected by the ongoing movement of karma. This lesson introduces you to this key topic of karma, particularly assuming karmic responsibility for who we are and what our lives have come to be. The law of karma. Our lives are a product of our own action or karma. Who we are and what we experience, both individually and collectively, is the result of forces that we ourselves have set in motion and are ultimately responsible for. We are responsible for ourselves and to some extent for the world as a whole. This assumption of karmic responsibility is the basis of all deep yogic practices as well as our ability to gain freedom in life overall. The universe is our own co-creation that we have participated in, along with the great creative forces of nature. There is no God to blame for the condition of the world apart from us. The state of society is similarly our own co-creation, along with all other people. There is no person or group to blame for the state of society apart from us. Above all, we as individuals are the result of our own thought and action, not the result of what other people have done to us. There is no other to blame or to try to get even with. This realm of karma remains a work in progress with changes happening at every moment. We must remain vigilantly aware of its constant development and direct it towards the highest good. We cannot claim ignorance as an excuse for achieving wrong outcomes in our life. Recognizing that our lives are a creation of our own karma means that we must first take responsibility for who we are and learn to act in a way that ensures we achieve what we are really striving for. We cannot place the responsibility for who we are on anyone, though we all have to assume a degree of mutual responsibility for all that occurs in our lives. Life is action, which is karma. Life is never static or completed. Life consists of forces that are ever-changing and reshaping themselves in various ways, undergoing regular renewal and transformation. While these forces in life cannot be destroyed, we can alter their level and degree of manifestation, sometimes in a radical manner. To do this, we must be conscious at every moment of the type of forces in play around us. We must remain wakefully aware at every instant, not as a state of stress, but as a state of receptivity to the vast movement of life. We must also recognize that behind visible causes and their apparent effects in the world today are placed yet subtle forces of karma, shaping them in powerful currents, which links to other times, places, and aspects of the great universe. The karma in our world is linked to the karma in other worlds, including those beyond the physical that we may not know. Mysterious and profound is the web of karma. Karma as cause and effect. The law of karma indicates that there is an inviolable relationship of cause and effect in regard to all actions in the universe. As is the cause, so is the effect. As you sow, so shall you reap. This seems very simple at first, yet that is only the beginning of how karma works. The Vedic law of karma is not merely a physical law, but an ethical and spiritual law. Everything we do sets in motion various forces that have certain consequences and results that can either be beneficial or harmful. While we can easily see cause and effect relative to material forces, it is harder to observe on a subtle level. The ultimate result of the law of karma is that our present action in our current life reflect actions done in past life that we do not remember. This causes us to come into certain experiences in life that are not the result of anything that we ourselves have actually done or are responsible for. For this reason, karma and its effects can be hard to discern. The chain of karma connects us not only to our own past lives but also to the karmas of all living beings. Karma, we must clearly note, is not a matter of reward and punishment for good or bad deeds. It is simply a movement in natural forces. If you put your hand into a fire, you will get burned. It is not a matter of morality. Yet there are laws relating to the mind and soul as well that are ethical in nature. For example, if we create anger, which is a fierce force, it can burn not only others but can also burn ourselves. We need not cover karma over it, a veil of judgments, but should try to determine how the forces of karma work on an objective level, not according to the will of another person or the whim of a deity. Karma, destiny, and free will. Karma means action and refers to the result of our previous deeds. It does not mean destiny or indicate that our lives are predetermined. The past projects and influence that can be very powerful, but life in the present can modify that in various directions. There is always room for the new. The law of karma means that each of our actions has consequences that we should be aware of, not only for the present, but also for the future. The law of karma means that we are free to create our own destiny in life. There are, however, three important correlates to this idea that serve to qualify it. Karma and time. We create our destiny in the field of time, which means that who we are today is a result of what we did yesterday, extending into previous lives that we have forgotten. The shadow of past lives' karmas hangs over us and must be understood before it can be removed. Karma and dharma. We create our destiny in the field of universal law. For example, we are free to put our hand into a fire or not, but we are not free to put our hand into a fire and not get burned. This means that if we violate universal laws, that we will suffer. Unfortunately, the results of certain actions manifest only after time, and so our immediate reaction may be incorrect. When we come down with an illness, for example, it may be the result of a wrong action over a long period of time, like taking of too many sweets leading to diabetes. Collective nature of karma. We are co-creators of karma. We as individuals live in a certain era and cultural field that affects our actions. For example, someone with a certain career potential in our society today may have a different career that if they were born 1,000 years ago. Similarly, we can be affected by collective karmas extending to major social changes, innovations, or conflicts. These qualifications on karmic freedom are, of course, considerable. For example, you can choose to some degree what you are going to eat. That is your freedom in life if you have the money and time. But this depends upon the food items available. You cannot ask for food that cannot be found in your area. You have the freedom not to eat anything, but only for a short time, as the body depends upon food. You cannot choose to eat wrong foods without any health consequences. Nor can you have your digestive system function the way you want it. It will function according to its capacities and previous conditioning. You cannot choose to eat more than your stomach can take. So freedom of diet, even under ideal circumstances, has significant limitations. Assuming karmic responsibility in life. The foundation for all Vedic counseling is that we must first assume karmic responsibility for our own lives. Only when we assume responsibility for ourselves in life can we effectively change who we are and alter how we live in a harmonious manner. This requires recognizing that we are responsible for who we are and what our karma is. It means taking karmic responsibility for our life situations, for good or ill. One of the biggest obstacles to change in life is that we do not accept responsibility, particularly for the difficulties that come to us. We want to make others responsible, whether it is our family, friends, society, or the world as a whole. Yet, in blaming others, we give away our own power and deprive ourselves of the motivation necessary to improve our lives. We are not victims and cannot blame others for our condition in life, even though the actions of other people do affect us. The attitude of being a victim weakens us, inhibits positive change, and gets us caught in the past. Once we accept our karmic responsibility in life, we are able to forgive others and let go of the past. We can make positive changes in the present moment. We recognize that we are responsible for the world in which we live. Accepting our responsibility for our karma allows us to take control of our lives and make meaningful and lasting changes. It provides a great relief and opens up a new horizon of transformation. When it occurs, we can more easily observe and understand our karma and not simply get caught in its reactions. We must ask ourselves key questions relative to our karmic responsibility. Who am I blaming for my condition and state of well-being in life? How can I achieve greater responsibility for myself in life, materially, emotionally, and spiritually? How can I best help others in terms of karma yoga?